Hi, this is Johan. Welcome back to my channel. I'm going to tell you a little story from Finland. This time it happened on a Sunday in September of 1980, and the place was the Sea of sterhankmo in Mustasaari. And the witnesses is Åke Hurin, Knut Bergfors. And the nature of the sighting is described as saucer-shaped glowing ball at sea. It's a very interesting thing about those sightings over the oceans, over water, or even under the water. There have been numerous sightings through history about shining and non-shining objects diving into, hovering over the waters, or coming up from the waters and going away, sometimes going straight up. This tells me that the entities that has created this technology might actually be water breathers, if you like, or creatures that doesn't breathe air like we do, like humans do, and animals. It tells me that these creatures has their natural inhabitants in water, and to me it's no surprise, because there's water below, and more evidence has come to the surface that there is also waters above, like in the old biblical descriptions of the universe, if you like. And now we're off with the whole flat earth thing, and I won't go into that now, but there is something to it. I saw a very interesting video the other day about a guy with a camera, an infrared filter on the camera, and he was looking around in his kitchen filming, and there was several bottles of transparent glass with water in it, bowls of water. And when he looked with his camera that had this infrared filter, he saw that the color was dark grayish or almost black color of the water inside the bottles. And he went outside. It was daytime, and he filmed with this same camera, and he pointed the camera straight up, and behold, the sky was the same color, almost completely black, like the color of the water inside the bowls he had on his kitchen. Kind of curious. But anyways, let's continue with the story. This incident took place on a Sunday evening in September 1980, but so far the exact date is unknown. There were two witnesses, one close to the object and the other one about a kilometer away. The time was a few minutes past 9 p.m. The evening was dark with a clear and calm weather, and with a temperature of plus 10 degrees Celsius. The site was the Sea of sterhankmo in Mustasaari. Åke Hurin, a car mechanic, had been on a Sunday evening fishing trip with a friend, Knut Bergfors. After they had finished fishing, they went for a cup of coffee in Bergfors' villa. At about 9 p.m, Hurin decided to head for home in his boat, and Bergfors watched his journey from the shore. As it was dark, Hurin switched on the two strong headlights he had in his boat. After driving a kilometer or so, while passing the Österrören point, he noticed a bright light closing in from the right. He thought it was a tug, a big boat or the like with a headlight on top. He slowed down to about 3 knots in order to give the boat right of way. He went on in this manner for 3 or 4 minutes, but the light was still coming straight towards him, although he was unable to see the usual sidelights of the boat. Now he began to be afraid of a collision and turned off his lights, stopped his engine, and at the same time turned the boat heavily to the right. The object or light was at that time so close that he bent his body away as he thought it was coming straight at him. He felt heat radiation, but there was no audible sound in the glowing object. He thought he had turned his lights off. The object was shining so brightly that he could see the gallon paraffin canister in the bow of his boat and also the piers of Österrören. He judged the diameter of the object to be about 1.5 meters and its height from the sea level to about 3 or 4 meters. About its shape, he could only say that it was a circle of light, which in addition radiated heat and sort of vibrated. It had an orange color. The object was never directly above, but at an angle of maximum 70 degrees. Thereafter the object disappeared, but Hurin cannot tell in any specific detail how this came about. It just disappeared. After he left, he tried, after some time had passed, how long he could not say, to start the engine, but he had difficulties with doing that. And it finally did start. He went on his journey. But he seemed to have been in a state of mild shock, as he believed he was far away from his real position and wandered about for a long time until he knew where he was. Normally, he should have been at home about 9:30 p.m. Now he arrived as late as 11:30. And here we have a map of the observation site. On the top right corner, you can see position of Bergfors home. And he drove for a little while and he met this strange, unidentified circle of light with an orange color to it. Pretty strange. But then again, it has been reported a lot of these orange colored lights everywhere, so he did not tell anyone about the matter until a few days had passed. His friend Kurt Bergfors discussed the incident when meeting Åke Hurin the next time. He had not been aware of the fact that Bergfors had been watching the incident on the shore. Bergfors had remained on the shore in front of his villa to watch Åke Hurin leave. He noticed the light which approached Hurin. The object was coming from the direction of Vårlex Köklott. Bergfors saw the object approaching, and he also noticed that it was a glowing object moving quite high. When it reached Hurin, it descended to about 150 meters and remained stationary. The object remained there for about 5 minutes. It was glowing and vibrated. Heat vibration? ? Having a saucer shape. Bergfors judged it to be about 3 meters in diameter. He also saw Hurin switch off the lights of his boat and heard the engine stop. Bergfors began to be afraid that the object also might approach him, so he turned off the lights in his villa. When the object left, it first ascended, turning into a zeppelin shape, and then it returned in the same direction as it had arrived. When the object had disappeared, he looked at his watch and the time was 9:15 p.m. He thought there would be something written about it in the newspapers. Later on, he was surprised to hear how Hurin got perplexed of the sighting. Okay, and there is also the investigator's comments. The investigator heard about the incident autumn of 1980, but it was impossible for him to contact the witnesses at once. The first interview with Hurin took place on the 30th of December 1980, and the same day he interviewed Bergfors through telephone. He re-interviewed Hurin the 2nd of January 1981. Then he discovered some further details. No newspaper stories of the incident were found. Åke Hurin's boat is open, 6 meters long, and has a petrol-operated inboard engine. The engine develops 40 horsepower. has 4 cylinders and is 4-stroke, water-cooled, which results in a very low noise. With this engine, the boat runs 6 to 7 knots. The lights are extra headlights of a car. In addition to the paraffin canister, there was a power saw and a box used for storing nets in the bow of the boat. The heavy evasion left the canister jammed between the power saw and the net box, which left marks in the canister. No other visible marks of the incident exists. The following day, Johan had difficulties in keeping his balance, which he at first could not connect with the incident. Being terrified of his experience, he got a gun in order to be able to defend himself in further incidents, if there should be any. This is quite interesting. I think I myself would have been quite scared about seeing a light coming towards me in the form of a circle floating above the water. Mr. Åke Hurin was trying to avoid the target. He tried to make space for what he believed to be some kind of a boat. But it wasn't. It actually was a UFO. And this made him go and buy a gun. So now, since that day, he always has a gun in his boat for self-defense. Wow. Huh. Alright. I hope you like this story. I will try to make some more videos soon. I have a lot of great and interesting UFO stories. The next one is about something that happened and actually was filmed, captured on video camera over Lågendalen Valley, not too far from Kongsberg and Numedalen in Norway. So stay tuned for that one, okay? Have a nice day.